Welcome students to another Mathodman episode. Today we are going to learn how to add and subtract polynomials. But before we do that, let's build on some prior knowledge. And if you know how to do this, the next slides will be super easy. All of this is just combined like terms. And when you combine like terms, you add and subtract the coefficients in the front, and you can only do it if they have the same variables. And then the last rule is that the exponents also have to match. They have to match perfectly. So we're gonna play this game called Can You Combine? Can you combine 5x and 2x? The answer is yes. That one's easy. They got the same variable. These have one exponents that are not written there, but they're really there. And if you add 5x plus 2x, you will get 7x. Moving on to the second one. 2x plus 2x squared, can you combine them? The answer is no. No, you can't. Yes, they do have the same variable, but that last rule I mentioned, they don't have the same exponent. That one technically has a 1. This has a 2. And you can't combine those, so just leave that alone. Leave that alone if you can't combine them. Let's look at the purple one. The answer for that is actually yes. It's yes. You can subtract these two. It looks like they're different. They're just rearranged in a different order. Negative 2yx, if you want to get confused less, you can just write that as negative 2xy. They mean the same thing, and when you combine like terms, just subtract the numbers in the front. That will get you 1xy. We got two more. Let's move on to this one. This one's only going to take a second. Can you combine like terms? The answer, this one's easy peasy, is yes. Yes, you can. You can put a 1 right there. This has a variable of x, and they're both to the third power. So we can just subtract those and get 4x to the third. Remember, you're not adding the exponents, you're only adding or subtracting the coefficients. And moving on to the last bell ringer, the last question. Can you combine like terms? This one is a negative. Cannot add these terms. And here's why. Yes, they do both have x, y, but if you observe each variable, they have different exponents. It's different for x and different for y. And because of that, you cannot combine those. Leave it alone, just like that. Let's go take our prior knowledge and add and subtract polynomials in the next slide. Looking at these two questions, when you're adding or subtracting polynomials, all you gotta do is remember two things. And the first one is, if you see anything negative that needs to be distributed, do that first. That's my suggestion. And also, when you are writing and combining like terms, order it from the highest to lowest degree. And we'll talk about what that means in this first question right here. So in this one, it's pretty easy to tell which one's the highest degree because there's only one variable. And that is this term right here, negative 3p to the third. We're going to start off with that, but first, we want to make sure that that's not a negative, and if it's a plus, you could just rewrite all these terms without those parentheses. Start with the highest exponent, which is this term right here, highest degree, and I'm just going to rewrite that at the bottom. Once you rewrote it, cross it off like that. Now move on to the second highest degree, and that is p squared. We're going to write 5p squared next to this negative 3p to the third, and that's a positive 5p squared. So we'll cross that off. And here's what you want to do. You want to scan to see if there is anything like terms with 5p squared. And if you look, that doesn't count. But this one, it does have a p squared. And if you want to organize combining like terms, I like to write it at the bottom like this. That way they already match up when you add them later. So I'm going to write plus 2p squared right under that 5p squared and cross this off like that. All I have left is that minus 3. Can't really do anything with that, so we'll put this on the side like this. And then here's where the combining happens. It's a lot easier when you combine up and down, and that's why I write it vertically like that. I'm gonna just drop -3p to the third like this. These two I can combine. That's gonna turn into 7. Remember, you're not changing the exponent. Leave that as a square, and -3 by itself. You can't do anything with that. Just drop it down, and that's it. Don't try to do anything else. That is it. Leave it alone. Moving on to the second problem. This one is a little different because it's no longer a plus. If that's a minus, you can sneak in a 1 in between and then distribute that -1. That is what I meant by distributing the negative. And I'm going to cross that off so I don't get confused. I'm going to use the new pink term right at the bottom of it. Now that I have that simplified, we want to start with the highest degree. So look through all the terms, scan through it, compare, and it's this one that has the highest degree. Positive 4x to the 5th. Cross it off. Now scan through to see if there's anything x to the 5th. If there's not, move on to the second highest degree. Move on to the second highest degree. Compare all of them, and it's going to be x to the 3rd. That's the next one that has the highest exponent. I'm going to write -13x to the 3rd like that, and continue that pattern we did. Scan, see if there's anything x to the 3rd power, which is that one, and I'm going to write that term right under here, just like that. And then it's the same process. Scan, see what the next term is. It's -11x. And you can see what's left over. That's why I cross it off. There's nothing with an x term. All I have left is +7, which is that one, and -8. So if you look at this, it's all organized. They're all categorized by like terms vertically. If there's nothing to add, you just drop it down like that, and then it's just simple addition and subtraction from here. -15x to the 3rd, -11x, and 7 minus 8 is -1. One last problem, and then I'll have you guys try some on your own. Scan for in between the parentheses to see if you have to distribute a negative, and in this problem you got to do it twice. I simplified all that, and I like to cross it off so I know I already took care of it. The first part of the parentheses we can just drop down. It's not going to change. We'll leave it like that. If there's not a symbol right here, this was positive, so you can sneak in a plus, and that was positive, remember, because we multiply -1 times -6, which is +6. Start with the highest degree, and this one is a little rougher because some of them have 2 variables. You want to add the variable's exponents to determine which one has the highest degree. Like this one is degree of 2, but this one will be a degree of 5, and I don't think anything is higher than 5. So that is the first term I'm going to start off with. I'm going to start off with that and look to see if there's anything like it, and there's one right here. Sometimes I even just write +7 like that, so once you start getting used to it, you can take little shortcuts like that, and I'll do it with this problem. Afterwards, next degree up is x squared, so 4x squared is what I'm going to write next, and scan through. This one's like terms, +6. So again, that's my shortcut. Hopefully I'm not confusing you with it. -9 also has x squared. The last one is just the x terms. I got 2 terms left, and they both happen to be x, so I'm going to write +4x minus 10x like that. And from here, they're all organized. They all look neat. Just start adding them up. 7 plus 7 is 14. X to the 3rd y squared. This one you're going to have to add and subtract 3 numbers. 4 plus 6 is 10 minus 9 is a +1 x squared. 4 minus 10 is -6x. and hopefully you are understanding and getting better at this. I want you to try this problem on your own. Just write it down and pause the video. When you are done, unpause it and you'll see the answer. Here is the answer. I hope ours matched up. The first thing that I did was to distribute this negative, this part right here. Once you have that, start with the highest degree, and it's degree 8. I started with that and started looking for anything with x4, y4. The final answer is this, and hopefully we got the same answer. And if that helped you, don't forget to subscribe, throw me a like, and if you ever need help, just let me know. But until then, I will see you on the next episode. Peace.